Hey guys, my name is Dylan with the anime summary. The story begins one late night when a girl by the name of Anisfia, the princess, is being chased by a pack of wolf monsters in the forest. Anisfia gets backed into a corner and feels thrilled to fight a group of them. An adventurer comes to try and save her, but Anisfia gets upset with him, wanting to have all the fun to herself. She lunges at the wolf monsters with her broom, eventually slaying all of the remaining monsters. The morning of the fight, Anisfia gathers all the materials from the monsters she fought and starts making her way back to the kingdom. Back in the royal palace, the king Palatia, also the father of Anisfia, is walking down a hallway and discussing his plans for the changes of the lifestyle in the kingdom. Then, out of nowhere, they notice Anisfia walking down the hall, shocked about what she has on her. Palatia, also known as Orphans, goes over to Anisfia and grabs her, lecturing her about how foolish she is for hunting for materials, being the princess of the kingdom. Anisfia comes up with a distraction, then once she has an opportunity, she runs away, heading back into her room. In Anisfia's room, Ilia, being her caretaker, is washing her clothes and recalls that she was only 5 years old when she wanted to fly, along with Anisfia regaining her memories from her previous life as well. Ilia then states she tried to do everything to fly, not possessing any magic and sacrificing many brooms along the way. After getting dressed in clean clothes, Anisfia tells Ilia she's going to visit Tilty to discuss the medication she's been taking. At Tilty's lab, Anisfia brings her a piece of magic sight that she got from defeating the monsters in the forest. While Tilty's trying to create new medicine for Anisfia, she wants to know if she had any side effects while using the old medicine she brewed. Tilty is confused on why Anisfia goes through all the trouble to be able to use magic. Then Anisfia states that magic is everything to her, being romantic with her dream to fly. Tilty comes to the realization that Anisfia is doing everything she can to make others smile with her research, then wonders who will be taking over the kingdom, but Anisfia tells her not to worry, saying that Algard, her brother, will be marrying the duke's daughter. Recalling when she was a kid, seeing her magical powers in action from behind a tree. At the noble academy in the kingdom, Euphilia, the duke that is going to school to marry Prince Algard in the future, is having a chat with her friends in school. At the door, Prince Algard is having a conversation with Lainey, a commoner, who both seem to be getting along really well. In the afternoon, Euphilia is setting up a day with Algard, waiting for his arrival. Algard arrives and they greet each other formally. They both take a seat to discuss their marriage and for that they need to build trust and bonds with each other. Euphilia then orders Algard to refrain from behaving impolitely while they are talking and at the Noble Academy. Algard gets furious about Euphilia setting standards for himself, wanting to make choices for himself. He gets up and leaves, informing Euphilia that they both have wasted each other's time. At night, Anisfia is outside of the castle, making sure that the weather conditions are good to fly with their broomstick. Before departing, Ilia appears, handing her clothes to comfort Anisfia during the cold night. Anisfia takes off on her journey through the castle in the air. At the Noble Academy graduation party, Euphilia is staring out the window right outside the party door. She walks inside the room and the room goes quiet, staring at Euphilia. After Algard walks in with Lainey, shocking Euphilia about their relationship and marriage status. Algard stops in front of the room, declaring that he and Euphilia's engagement will be called off. Euphilia questions Algard about having talked with his dad that it's official that they split their engagement together. Algard retaliates, stating that Euphilia only wants to marry him to become a queen, accusing Euphilia of having plans to take out Lainey to solidify her spot. Euphilia is confused, realizing that she was set up by someone, then starts crying in front of everyone in the room on the ground, having no one to turn to. Then, out of nowhere, Anisfia crashes through a window at the graduation party onto the ground. Anisfia notices Euphilia is alone and she questions her about the situation she stumbled upon. Euphilia doesn't say anything, still upset about the situation. Anisfia notices Lainey next to Algard and assumes that Algard called off their engagement. Anisfia lends a helping hand to Euphilia about the situation and with the broomstick leaving the party into the night sky. During the night, Orphans calls Grant, his manager, into his office to talk about a topic as friends. They both have a chat over tea about Anisfia's rebellion as a kid, not wanting to take any part in marriage. Also, Orphans stating that Algard has been problematic as well, having no standards as a future king. Then from the door, Anisfia appears holding Euphilia on her back, shocking Orphans. Orphans gets furious with Anisfia for taking Euphilia away from the Noble Academy graduation party. Before being punished, Anisfia tells Orphans that Algard broke off his engagement at the party with Euphilia stunned. He turns to Euphilia and she vouches for Anisfia's story at the party. Orphans apologizes to Grants, Euphilia's daughter, about Algard calling off the engagement with her. Euphilia apologizes to everyone, saying that she is truly sorry for the way things have turned out. Anisfia raises her hand and proposes to Orphans and Grants to have Euphilia, insisting on getting together instead of Algard and Euphilia. Anisfia puts her hand on Euphilia and clarifies that she will be an assistant for her from now on. Anisfia then yells that Euphilia is also the best, both highly skilled in magic and beautiful. After noticing the silent stares from her, she changes the statement, with the reason being that the matter has left a stain on Euphilia's life as a noble girl. Grants questions Anisfia on her studying of magicology with Euphilia. Anisfia tells him that the new age of technology she is creating will bring a new life into the world. Anisfia also gives another reason to be with Euphilia, since she hasn't announced any of her technology yet, giving the credit for the technology to Euphilia instead. Euphilia feels bad about the whole ordeal about becoming a bad assistant for Anisfia. She brushes it off, saying that her reputation is bad enough to not have an assistant sooner. Grants recalls from a long time ago that Anisfia said that she doesn't want to marry a man but a woman in the future. Orphans questions Anisfia about making excuses and reasons to be with Euphilia. Euphilia backs away, assuming the worst of Anisfia's intentions. Grants notices Orphans and Anisfia's relationship and wonders if he has been a bad parent to Euphilia. He makes his way towards Euphilia, and when he's about to put his hand on her head, he notices her reaction to it. Then instead, he bows his head towards her and apologizes for being a bad father. Grants then states that Euphilia has lived up to all of his expectations, questioning himself if she really wanted the life she has now. He puts his hand on her head to reassure she has done nothing wrong and that it's his fault in the first place. After Anisfia and Euphilia hang out in her place, with Ilia using a thermal pot that Anisfia invented to make tea. Euphilia tries the tea and is shocked about how good the tea is. Anisfia insists to Euphilia that she needs to see her workshop room. Anisfia grabs and picks her up and carries her to the workshop room. In the workshop, she welcomes Euphilia and she looks around surprised about how remarkable the tools she invented are. Euphilia compliments her on how intelligent she is, taking her own magic and spirits for granted. Anisfia tells her the truth that she envies people who have the ability to use magic. Anisfia and Euphilia then proceed to head to bed, discussing everything that has transpired over the last day. Euphilia questions what she really is, recalling her conversations about her big dreams and living freely. Anisfia compliments Euphilia on being able to be calm and control her emotions. Anisfia grabs her hand, saying that she is just as free as her, making Euphilia feel good, and both head to bed for the night. The next day, Euphilia is in bed, waking up realizing that she slept at her place. Ilia comes in, opening the curtains from the window, and once Euphilia gets dressed, they make their way down the hall into the dining room to have breakfast. While Ilia and Euphilia are having a conversation, the alarm goes off that Anisfia created, and she crashes in front of the window on her broomstick. She gets up and tells Euphilia that she needs to experiment with the new weapons she has created and agrees to head outside to test them. After experimenting with their weapons and tools, she is summoned to Orphan's room, with Grants having Ilia accompany her by her side. Euphilia tells Orphans that she has had little to no conversation or contact with Lainey while they were at the Noble Academy. Euphilia recalls the night at the party where Algard insulted her not to be mean but to follow his own conviction with himself. Orphans tells her that if he comes across anything that he will let her know about the situation. Ilia steps up and gives Orphans a box from Euphilia. He opens the box and inside contains a key into the secret library. Returning the key, having no further use for it, only using it to help guide herself to be queen one day. Grant states that she fulfilled her role, then Euphilia says goodbye and will return back to Annie's place, leaving the room. After Euphilia and Ilia leave, Orphans questions Grant on the way he is, phrasing his words. Grant admits that he's bad at the whole father thing and apologizes. Back in the dining room while having tea, Annie barges in, getting little to no sleep, but ignores it. She drops the bag that she's been carrying onto the table, revealing a sword she has created for Euphilia. They head outside to test the new sword Annie made. Annie points to a tree and tells Euphilia that the tree will be the target. Euphilia releases the sword and uses fire magic to take out the tree in one hit. She then uses water magic, being interested in the sword's abilities. Finally, she tries all of the abilities together, creating a beautiful rainbow, stunning Annie. Afterwards, they both sit down at a tree, talking about how great it was watching and using the sword Annie made. Annie tells Euphilia that she has a name for the sword, being called the Arc En Ciel. Annie explains that the meaning for the sword is short for rainbow, containing all the different attributes of magic. While describing the sword to Euphilia, Annie passes out on top of her, exhausted from all the hard work she's been doing. Euphilia cries tears of joy getting closer with Annie and feels envy towards the way she carries herself. At night in the forest, a group of adventurers are running away in a panic. The guy further ahead tells the guy behind to hurry up or else they'll be taken out. The guy says if they keep running through the forest, they will be able to contact the guild for backup. The guy behind falls to the ground and they both turn around to notice the gigantic dragon that could easily destroy the entire kingdom. The next day, Anisfia notices Euphilia is sick and puts her back in bed, assuming that it's just a cold. She leaves the room and upon returning brings medication for Euphilia to have, and afterwards Euphilia feels disgusted, gulping down the medicine. Euphilia apologizes for putting her through all this trouble to keep her well. Anisfia brushes it off, telling her to rest, then apologizes to Euphilia for being so focused on the sword instead of caring for her well-being. Euphilia daydreams about her life and Anisfia puts her hand on top of hers to care for her. Anisfia pushes Euphilia onto the bed with her to comfort her for everything she's been going through. In the afternoon, Euphilia wakes up from sleeping and is glad that Anisfia is by her side, passed out on the side of the bed. At night in Algard's room, Count Chart enters the room proposing a plan with Algard to set himself free from being house arrested by orphans. The next day, while Euphilia and Ilya are talking, Anisfia runs over to them informing them that there is an urgent mission from the Adventurers Guild. In Anisfia's workshop room, Euphilia questions on why she got a message from the guild. Then Anisfia shows her gold rank amulet she has acquired from adventuring. Anisfia tells Euphilia that a dragon has appeared and that it's her job to destroy it. Before leaving, Euphilia states that she'll be tagging along with her on the journey, confusing Anisfia. While orphans and his staff are having a meeting to talk about defeating the dragon, Algard appears at the door. He informs everyone that he's heard rumors about the dragon appearing, telling orphans that he would like to receive a reward for defeating the dragon. Orphans notices Algard's eyes of pure evil. Algard points out hearing rumors about himself among the kingdom. Orphans recalls the childhood of joyfulness between Anisfia and Algard, later splitting with Anisfia being interested in magic technology and knowing this gave up her chance of being on the throne for Algard's sake. Algard says he's prepared to risk everything in order to defeat the dragon. A knight interrupts their meeting at the door to inform them that Anisfia and Euphilia have set out to defeat the dragon. Orphans gets furious while Anisfia and Euphilia set off on their journey to slay the dragon. If you guys like what you saw, be sure to subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.